Hello there, and welcome to the Extravaganza 2016 First Timers webinar. We're very, very glad that you are here. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited for this event. We're excited to share some about it with you tonight. We have some goals for our time together here on this webinar. The one is that we want to introduce you to the network and the organization that puts this event on. There's kind of a backstory here, and we think it's important that you kind of know what that is and understand what it is that's or the group that's putting this together. We want to help you feel a part of this community that's very excited to have you be with us as a part of it. We want to let you know what resources are available to you at the Extravaganza, some things that will help you in your ministry. Basically, we just want you to feel just totally ready, set, and prepared to come to California and be a part of this great event. There's some folks that are going to be helping put this together. Just want to introduce you to ourselves. My name is Todd. I am a pastor in Owatonna, Minnesota, which is about an hour and 15 minutes south of the Twin Cities. And I am also serving as the executive director of the ELCA Youth Ministry Network. Amy Wagner is the coach for the regional facilitator group. She's not on the call right now. She's going to try to join us a little bit later. She had a congregational obligation tonight, but she'll be hopefully with us before the event is over. But Andrew, Julie, and Ashley, I'm going to have you guys just introduce yourself, if you don't mind. Maybe just tell us kind of who you are and where you serve and kind of what your role is in the network. Do you want to go first, Andrew?
Sure. My name is Andrew Carmen. I'm the regional facilitator for Region 5. You'll get to see a map of where all those regions are later. I serve St. Mark Lutheran Church in West Des Moines, Iowa. And that's about it.
Hi, I'm Julie Schissler-Peralta, and I'm residing in the Indianapolis, Indiana area, currently serving a congregation working with children, youth, and young adults. And I'm the regional facilitator for Region 6.
I'm Ashley Strelo. I work in Moorhead, Minnesota as the Associate Youth Director and am the Region Facilitator for Region 3.
Excellent, thanks. So just a little bit about the network and kind of what it is. I'm just going to give you the short version of the backstory, I guess. The network has basically been in existence for about 20 years now. What happened was, to make a really long story, hopefully as short as possible, once upon a time there were 3 different denominations that all formed the ELCA when they merged in 1988, and between those 3 there were something like 17 staff people that were working in all 3 denominations to support people that were working with children and youth in ministry across the country in these 3 different denominations. And as sometimes happens when you merge things, you don't always get the sum of the parts. And so when the merger happened, that number went from 17 to something like 4. And suddenly the capacity of the church to be able to help and work and be supportive of people in ministry just was really diminished. They couldn't do nearly as much to help us out as they used to be able to do. So a group of people started in conversation with each other and said, you know what, basically, if the ELCA cannot do this for us, let's do it ourselves. And so kind of began the process of trying to figure out how to best support each other. And we did that first through an event. We said, let's just get everybody together. There was a couple preliminary events that we worked on, and then we said, let's just get as many people together as we can, get to know each other, and then just sort of have a conversation about what we need. And so we looked for cheap location, cheap airfare, cheap hotels, cheap food, and to do this as inexpensively as we could. We went to Vegas. And so the very first Extravaganza was in Las Vegas at the Stratosphere Hotel. The cost of the event was $49. You could get a $79 room, and flights were to Vegas. Gambling junkets were about $99. We could do this thing pretty cheap. All the speakers came and spoke for free. The musicians got themselves there and played for free. Everybody was just totally in on making this thing work. And so we had a great event in Vegas. Really weird being in Vegas, but it was a lot of fun. And but what came out of that meeting was the realization that we needed more than an event. We needed a way of connecting with each other. And so the ELCA Youth Ministry Network was born. A board was formed that met for the first time the next year at the Extravaganza in Dallas. And then basically over the last 20 years, the organization has grown and developed and worked to find ways to continue to support people doing faith formation with people in the first third of life and with their families. The mission of the network is to strengthen and empower adult leaders of children, youth, and family ministry in service to Christ. Really, those two key words: strengthen and empower adult leaders. Strengthen and empower. That's the kind of the key element there. The vision for the network: we anticipate a church where faith formation with young people just flourishes and grows stronger. Congregations are better at what they do, where all adult leaders feel supported and encouraged, where resources are readily available. Anything that you need, you can find through your colleagues and friends at the network and through our partners, and where ministry with young people is lifted up by every aspect of the church. The whole church believes that it's an important thing and supports it, which isn't always the case, but we are working to try to make that a reality. Our basic values, the things that we think are really important. We believe that faith formation for youth and adults is key to growing in their relationship with Christ. We value children and youth ministry leaders equally. Lay rostered, volunteer, paid, doesn't matter. We just want to support people who love Christ and who love young people and want to see their faith grow. So everybody at the E is equal. We are all there just to learn how we can best serve young people and serve God. We believe in healthy, supported, and networked ministries. We're connected with each other. We believe the current and potential diversity of our communities. We believe in these things, and we therefore seek to welcome all people. We believe in professional relationships among leaders. By professional, I kind of mean the lowercase version of that. Not just talking about paid, but professional as in how we get along with each other, how we support each other. We value our partnership with the ELCA. We are a separate, independent 501c3 nonprofit, but we work in really close partnership with our friends in the church-wide office, supporting them in what they do and they in us. And we value practices that are informed by biblical and theological wisdom. So that's just kind of a snapshot of who we are. There's a board of 7 people that work, and we're going to talk more about that in a second as well, that tend to this whole vision and mission of the network. We're going to talk a little about the network on a broader scale. So I'm going to turn it over to I think, Ashley, are you talking about this? I actually didn't write down a name in the square. Julie's going to talk about this. So thank you. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah. So you see before you on the slide, it's the map, and the ELCA is divided into 9 regions, and going from the west coast to the east coast, 1 all the way over to 9. And so hopefully you can see there, pick out your state, as Andrew had alluded to earlier, and figure out what region you are. And each of us are the network. And so you'll see that how we're all connected. Next slide, please. And here it shows you our leadership, and just to kind of give you an idea of how many people it takes, there is over 130 people involved at some level of leadership. There's some paid, but then there are lots of faithful volunteers. And so the network board, the regional facilitators, as Andrew, Ashley, and I are, the Extravaganza team, who's been busy this past year putting together our large event that's coming up in a couple weeks. Third Tuesday Conversations. If you haven't been and listened to a Third Tuesday Conversation, I invite you to take advantage of that. It's great topics once a month, and you can go to the website to find out more information about that. The Connect Journal is a great publication that helps us with resources, and one of Amy's favorite is the one that we were talking about, laughing and at ourselves in youth ministry and different things that we do. One of my favorites was there was one about outdoor ministries, and outdoor ministry is one of my passions, and so we talked about how getting our kids involved with outdoor ministry and what that looks like. We also have that, I believe it's in the 4th year of the Practice Discipleship team, and each synod has been offered that, and so you may have a Practice Discipleship person in your synod And so that would be about 67 volunteers right there in that. And then, of course, our communications team, we have a multicultural initiative team, and then I talked about that minimal staff. And they are all here to strengthen and empower you to be the best leader that you can be in your setting and whatever that setting looks like for you. Okay, next slide, please, Todd.
Okay, and before we do that real quick, let me just jump in. I'm sorry, I forgot to say something earlier. That if you'll notice on the right side of your screen in that little box from the GoToWebinar thing, there is a space to type in questions. So as we go here, if you have questions come up, if there's things that aren't clear, and we're going to get more into the actual event here in a bit, but if you have questions about the event or things you want to make sure that we address, please make sure you type that question in, and then we will make sure that during the course of the webinar, we answer it. So it's right over on the right where it says questions. Sorry about that interruption, Julie.
You are fine. And so then this slide tells you who the regional facilitator is. So if you know, for instance, like Region 6, which is me, you have an opportunity to contact me, but then also look me up at the Extravaganza. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And there will be a time during the Extravaganza that you will have regional time and get to know the regional facilitator for your area if you have never met that person. So I encourage you to join that time. And I believe it's Ashley now is going to tell us about the Extravaganza.
Yes, so the Extravaganza is a 4-day conference that we have, and we are going to be lucky enough to have around 600 people join us this year. And it is primarily a time for renewal, education, and networking for the events of our church. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that actually means later. And like we already said, this event is both for the professional and the volunteer. Everyone is welcome. It's for the old and young, urban, suburban, and rural areas, rostered leaders, lay people. It's for everyone who just shares in the adventure for children, youth, and family ministry. And this extravaganza has been going for 20 years. So I first started in the Kansas City one in 2011. And this is honestly one of the best experiences to be able to be a part of for youth ministry. You get to network with so many different people and learn so many different ways of looking at youth ministry that it's just a wonderful tool and event that we have that we can go to. So like we said earlier, the extravaganza is about renewal. So the extravaganza in general is what you make out of it. It might be a time that you need to renew and just be a part of your faith. And the extravaganza is a church. We gather at tables and we worship together every day. And at the extravaganza, we experience the love and grace of God. And another thing that the extravaganza is really, really great about doing is providing different opportunities for education. So we have large group sessions every day. They're definitely something that you won't want to miss. They're great opportunities just to hear from a bunch of different speakers and experience that worship time. There are also workshop sessions where we go over more of the nuts and bolts and learn different skills and tactics on multiple different topics. These workshops are things that you don't have to sign up for, and you can look them up in your schedule. So if you go on the ELCA Youth Ministry Network website, the full schedule is now available, and you can actually look up all the workshops right now if you want to, just to kind of get an idea of what's available and see what you want to go to. You will also get a full schedule once you get there for the first night that you actually will be able to have a paper copy too, which is really nice. So beyond like renewing and education, it's all about connection too. And throughout the extravaganza, it's very much a time where you kind of get to figure out what you want to take part in. So there are definitely times for you to connect with different people from all over your region and beyond. You can sit at tables with people, you can go to the lobby and have times for conversations. The workshops are a great time to meet other people as well. Um, a lot of people probably have similarities in our jobs, but it's also really nice to check in and just see what works for people and have the conversations of what brings you joy in your job.
All right, we are going to be at this place called the Hyatt Regency in Orange County. It's a beautiful place. It'll be our home for the week, and Andrew's going to kind of walk us through stuff that you'll need to know about the hotel and the area.
All right. Well, again, I'm Andrew from Region 5, and this is kind of cool. I get to be in solidarity with you that are first-timers here in Anaheim because I was actually a first-timer in Anaheim the last time we were there in 2013. So I guess you get a little bit of that perspective right now as well. The Hyatt Regency is a really awesome hotel. Within a block of the hotel, there are tons of restaurants, stuff listed here. We have Outback Steakhouse, Red Robin, but I was quick taking a look on Google Maps, and there's 12 or 15 restaurants, definitely within walking distance, and a Target as well, a 5-minute walk from the hotel front door. There's lots of areas on the main level for relaxing, enjoying some conversation. There's a nice bar and restaurant area right off the front there, and then the halls extend right out from there. One of the things you want to be aware of is that there's 2 towers in that picture in the lower right-hand corner. You're looking at one of the towers. It's mirrored on the other side, so just make sure you know which tower you're in and which way you're headed. You can see that also here in this picture. You'll enter in this main area right in the center. There is the main entrance, and that's where the kiosk is with hotel staff who are always super helpful. The last time we were here, if I ever had a question about where I needed to go outside of the hotel, what restaurants were good, where I could get in and out quickly, the concierge there at that front desk really helped me out. They even got me a taxi to Disneyland and back in no time flat, which was great. We can go ahead. Is anything else we need to hit on this map, Todd?
I don't think so. The most of the stuff programmatically is going to be over in this south tower here. In this area on the first and second floor will be all the workshops are, and then in this area, I don't know if you can see, I got my mouse moving. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's the ballroom, and that's where the general sessions will be, and the exhibit area will be in this hallway, and then in these 3 sections of the grand ballroom itself is where we're going to put all the exhibits. So pretty much this half of the hotel we pretty much own for the event.
Nice. And then you'll see later that there's a parking lot there, and that parking lot is actually on the bottom of the picture here. So if you end up parking there, you'll come in that back way.
Yep. Over here.
Yep. Perfect. So when you get into Anaheim, if you're driving, you're close. You'll go ahead and drive straight to the hotel. But you may need to check the transportation page on the network website for more information if you're unclear after this, or as Todd said earlier, throw some questions in that question section. It's in that right-hand column. There are taxis, town cars, and shuttles available from the airport to the hotel. The Super Shuttle is offering us a discount for any Extravaganza participants from the John Wayne International Airport, which is $11 a person one way, and from LAX, which is $17 a person one way. And so to get the discount, you need to book your reservation in advance. So make sure you get those booked. You might as well just do it as soon as you can using the code RWSRN at the link on this page. And I'm not sure if that's clickable right now.
Well, if you go to the travel discounts page, you'll see omnet.org/travel discounts. There's a direct link into our discount. You don't even have to enter the code then. It auto-enters it for you. So just go to that travel discounts page, click on the link for the Super Shuttle, and then just punch in your information and your payment, and you're good to go.
Perfect. Parking at the hotel, as I alluded to earlier, is on the back side of the hotel. They've given us a discount on parking, which is awesome, $9 a day. So $36 if you're there for all 4 days. And that parking lot is located right behind the hotel on property there, and it's gated, and it's a self-parking lot with in-out privileges. And I actually used this last time because I was staying in a hotel off-site. Got to use that lot, and it is a very nice lot, well taken care of. Security's awesome. We have no issues with it getting in and out at all while we're there, and it is monitored 24 hours a day.
Cool. And Lindsay just popped a question, or actually a comment in the box. She said, I scheduled my transportation with Super Shuttle yesterday, and it was super easy. So good to know. I'm glad this is working, so thanks.
So what should you do when you get there? That's kind of the most awkward part when you're coming in for the first time. So a few tips and tricks from people who've done this before. One of the first things you want to do after you check into your room is to get to that registration table and pick up your welcome information. Those people are very helpful, the people that are at that table. They are there to help you. So don't be afraid to ask them questions. Nobody's going to think you're weird for asking questions. We all have them. Even people who've been to this hotel before are going to be a little confused when they get in, so definitely ask questions if you have them. Once you're there, you've got your stuff up in your room, you've checked in, you might want to take some time to walk around the exhibit hall and get a feel for the lay of the land so you can familiarize yourself with where things are. The nice thing about this hotel is it's a very compact location. That doesn't mean it's small. There's plenty of room for us to move around, but everything is kind of close together, so it'll be real easy to get the lay of the land there. And then you'll also want to find out when the First Timers Tour and regional receptions will be held, when and where. Those will both be held on Friday. First Timers Tour will be a little bit before dinner. And so you'll want to come check it out. We'll be doing a tour together. The regional facilitators will be hosting that tour. We'll show you where things are, give you some more tips and tricks, and you'll get to meet some other people who are there for the first time, which is a great connection to make. You might want to catch up on some Z's when you're coming in. Travel can be, I mean, you sit there all day, but man, you're tired at the end of it. So maybe you want to catch up on some rest. This is also a great time to visit with some friends. Since the schedule is available already, you can be kind of checking out what you want to do while you're there, and maybe check in with some friends that you may have from back home, or to meet some new friends and kind of see what workshops people are sounding interested in, and maybe kind of link up some schedules there as well.
One thing that we've added, actually, since this PowerPoint got put together, there's a team called the hospitality team, and their whole job is to make people feel welcome and answer your questions and help you out with stuff. But what they're doing, we'll have this First Timers Tour on Friday, and at 5 p.m. The general session starts at 7. So it's kind of this awkward in between time that's a little bit short for dinner and such. So here's what they did: is they're going to do after the tour is done, they're going to do dinner with all the first timers who want to. They're just going to make a reservation for a group, go across the street to one of the restaurants. You'd be on your own for paying for dinner. They can't pay for it, but they're going to take folks. There'll be a chance to kind of sit down with some other folks who are new. And then because we know that we don't want people to be late to the session and all that, we're actually going to reserve a number, 40 or 50, however many people go to dinner, of seats in the front in the ballroom for first timers. So when you come back from dinner with the hospitality team, you'll be able to walk right into the ballroom and sit down and have a spot, and you'll be good to go with that. So there'll be information when you check in, I guess, about how to sign up for that dinner, or if they get the information to us, we'll put it on the website and out on social media as well. Lindsay asked another question. She said, is the registration table available on Thursday? The answer is yes, because Thursday the intensive care courses start. If you're one of the people signing up for an intensive care course, those begin on Thursday at 1 p.m. And so I think, if I remember right, the timing on the registration, I think we do early registration from like 10 to 2 on Thursday for those folks that are coming for intensive care courses. And so that'll be available down in that area outside the main ballroom, just right in the back of the lobby. You kind of can't miss it. So it will be available then. to get your information.
All right, and like we were alluding to earlier, the events and activities that are going on while we're there, it's really awesome to get involved with stuff while you're there. There's plenty of stuff going on, and it's really hard to actually hit every single thing going on. So in addition to trying to hit the awesome stuff that that you see on the schedule and you want to do, be sure to leave yourself a little bit of room in there for rest and renewal, like we talked about earlier. You can go and check out that schedule right now. It's live at elcaymnet.org/schedule. Pretty simple link there. And then also make sure you download the network app, and it's available for iPhone and Android. And the schedule is also on there. So you can just go to elcaymnet.org/app on your phone and download it straight from there. And I think that's probably the easiest way to get the app.
It is,
and the store.
Yep, and the schedule actually isn't on there yet, but it will be. We've just got to
Okay.
get someone to sit down and do all the data entry, but it'll be up before the event.
Perfect. And you want to make sure you make note of what time and where First Timers orientation will be, and check that out before 5 p.m. on Friday. Know where it's at so we can meet together and take a tour. You really shouldn't need to learn anything else while you're there, so take some time to relax, and we'll show you the ropes at that orientation. Take note of when and where your regional gatherings are. I believe that's after the opening large group session. We'll break off into regions and have a little get together with people who are geographically near you when you go back home. You also want to check out the workshops. There's plenty of those. Each time there's workshops, there's I'd say 10 to 12 available every time. So you definitely got your choice there of what you want to do. There's lots of lunches and gatherings. Different groups will get together to have lunches or receptions. And then as well, you can get together with some friends during those times and take some time away to relax and have some lunch together. You're also going to want to check out the exhibit hall. That's where lots of tables and booths are set up from different vendors and outdoor camps and those sorts of ministries. It's a really cool way to kind of brainstorm in a physical sense with where your ministry can go in the next few years. So definitely check those out, and they have lots of goodies available at those as well, so you'll want to get some free stuff for sure. And then definitely check out the hospitality table. That table is there to make sure that each and every one of us knows what's going on and is feeling good throughout the day. They usually have snacks, fruit, granola bars, water is always available there, and coffee, I believe, which is the lifeblood of youth ministry.
All right, I'm going to pass it over to Julie. I think you're going to share a little bit, right?
No, this goes back to you.
Oh, this is me. Oh, this was Amy, and Amy's not back yet, so I'm covering it because Amy's not here. Clearly, I need more coffee. All right. So anyway, we talked about these three things, and they're kind of the mantra for the network: renew, educate, connect. And just to highlight these things, the renewal is a key part of what we do in ministry to keep ourselves fresh and to keep ourselves growing and in our skills and growing in our faith. At the Extravaganza, we gather regularly for worship. There'll be worship every day in terms of the of what we do. We'll begin and end the event with communion together as a community, which is really fun. Lots of good food, lots of self-care opportunities as well. One of the things that's an often overlooked resource I really encourage people to do is we're going to have 2 spiritual directors on site. If you've never been with a spiritual director before, they're just people who ask questions and listen and talk to you about your faith and help explore and dig deep into things. Bill and Carolyn Keys are fantastic, and they're each going to have a schedule to meet with people one-on-one. There's a little bit of a cost involved in that. It's like, I think it's 20 or 25 bucks. You can sign up for that in advance online, or you can sign up for it on site as well, but it's just a tremendous resource, and they are gifted, wonderful people. There'll be great music at our event. We'll have a house band. Kendall Payne is our guest musician. She's fantastic. And there's lots of opportunities to see things in the area as well. This is Southern California, and if you live anywhere, well, I don't know what it was like for you, but I'm in Minnesota, and today it was like -6 when I got up. So I'm really anxious to see palm trees and be someplace where I don't have to wear 75 layers. So it'll be fun to be out and about there as well. Education is critical. We do the best we can to bring the newest and the best resources and presenters. We mentioned that main stage keynote. That's sort of the heartbeat of the event. We really talk about the spirit of ministry, but then the workshops themselves is where the nuts and bolts, the chalk talk happens, where we learn skills. The exhibit area, lots of resources that will be a part of the event as well. But here's the other thing. We just encourage you to find space during the schedule and to find space in the hotel to sit down and talk with people. We are really intentional when we look for hotels for this event that we find hotels with lots of what I call nooks and crannies, places where there's couches and chairs sitting all over the place that scattered about that people can sit and talk. And so to sit down with someone, get to know them, get to know their ministry, and to find out what you can learn from them is just an amazing thing. And is at least as valuable as all the program kinds of pieces that we put together. And I mentioned before those intensive care courses. We're excited about those. We've got about 70 people registered coming in a day early for intensive cares, and you can still register at this point. We can get more people in there if we need to. We have 3 coming up. One is on digital media by David Hansen, who is one of the leaders in digital and social media ministry in the ELCA. He's a pastor in Texas. We also have there's a national study on the best practices around confirmation ministry that's taking place. That's being done by an ecumenical group of seminaries. Luther Seminary in St. Paul is one of the seminaries leading that initiative. And so the team from Luther is going to be there talking about what they're learning about confirmation. It'll be really interesting. And then the third one I'm really excited about, we have a former Disney Imagineer who's actually a speaker and the writer as well. And he was involved in the development of almost all of the major Disney parks, except maybe Disneyland itself. He started after that, but he does a whole thing on creativity and imagination in ministry, and so he's great. So you can still sign up for those by contacting the registrar, add it into your registration. We encourage you to do that as well. So lots of good things in the education side. And then connecting, again, you heard about all these things that are just different ways for us to connect with each other during the course of the event. Sometimes people still after this event walk away and say, oh, I don't feel like I met people. And I just want to say, how is that possible? Because there's people everywhere and all they want to do is meet you. I suppose it is possible, but we really encourage people to step a little outside their comfort zone and just sit down with folks and have a conversation or introduce yourself and get to know people. You'll discover a lot of folks come to this event and it's a big reunion because we know each other. We've been coming to this thing for so long or working together on so many different things, but everybody also wants to be helpful and supportive and to welcome you into the event. Now, as we go, 2 other quick notes. On the network website, and this is just a screenshot of the website. And actually, look, right in the middle there, red shirt, that's Andrew right there. Look at him. This is where you can get all the information on the event itself. You can go under events and click on Extravaganza 16. You've probably already done that because you've registered. But the other thing is, and sometimes people miss this, on the top of the page, there's this link called Help and Support. If you click on that, it'll open up a form box and you just mark down what your question is about. If it's about Extravaganza registration or general network questions or the e-program or whatever it might be, you pick what it is, you type your question in, click submit, and that gets routed automatically to the right person who knows the answer to that question, and they will get back to you soon. So if you need to get a hold of any of us or anybody from the e-team or you have questions, just go right there, ask your question, and we'll try to get you an answer as soon as we can. Also, if you look at the bottom of the page, and this is actually just a screenshot, so I can't slide down, but on the bottom of the page, I think somewhere is the contact information, and there's a phone number there, and that's my cell phone. So call that number, and if you can't get an answer anyplace else, and I'll be glad to try to either answer it or get you to the right person who can. Last thing I want to highlight, too, talking about the fun stuff, because we all want to have fun, is that we do have discounts worked out at Disney World. There's a lot of people coming into this event early or staying late. to go to Disneyland and experience that, and that'll be really fun too. A lot of folks are bringing families too, which is kind of cool. They're going to stay for a couple days afterwards. We did that with our kids when we were here 3 or 4 years ago. But if you go to elcaymnet.org/Disney, we have a discount for tickets worked out with Disneyland. That'll be really fun. And the discount is available until and through January 31st. But February 1st, that goes away. So you want to make sure if you're going to buy tickets, do it before the end of January, because then Disney stops doing the discount piece, and you have to buy tickets at regular price at the gate. Now, you can also buy tickets in the lobby. Disney has a ticket booth at the hotel lobby, and they also, I know Andrew mentioned a taxi, but they do run a shuttle bus that goes, I think, every half hour back and forth to Disneyland. And if you want to take advantage of that, you can. The cost is $5 for a day ticket on the bus. So basically $5, and you can ride back and forth as many times as you want or need. So it's all good. That's really all that we had to share. I'm going to give one more minute or two. If anybody have any last minute questions, I can't believe we only had those couple comments that came in. There's got to be other questions out there that people are uncertain of. If you got a question, please feel free to type it in. We'll give a minute or two for that. And while we do that, I'll just pop back to our panel and just say, any last words that you have for folks when they come to the event for the first time?
This is Julie. It really is your time. So take advantage of whatever you need. If you need that time to renew, go away, find some space. If you need educate, there's tons of opportunities for that. But also, your friends and new friends that you meet are great resources as well. So it's a time for you.
Excellent, thanks.
This is Andrew. I've tried to do this event a couple different ways. I've been really ambitious and said I'm going to get the most education I possibly can. And man, I was exhausted, but filled up with lots of ideas by the end of the weekend. I've gone and said, I just need a weekend off, and have gone and just kind of vegged out, gone to 2 or 3 workshops and main events, and then just talked with people while I'm there. And both ways, I got probably just as many ideas, and feel free to do it the way you want to do it. Don't feel pressured to do something while you're there. Do what you feel like you need to do.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, no other questions have been popped in, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks again for the time. Hopefully you got helpful information. If not, let us know. If there's other questions that come up, don't hesitate to contact us. We're looking forward to seeing you and meeting you. Please, when you get to Anaheim, you'll spot folks on the team. They'll be wearing kind of these plasticky name badges. And make sure you introduce yourselves. I'd love to meet as many of you as I possibly can. So God bless. Take care. See you in Anaheim. Stay warm and comfortable until we get there, and have safe travels. Take care. Thanks for being here.